Reardon saw incredulously that Francisco's eyes had a hard, bright look, the look not of a party hound, but of a man of action. "Mr. Reardon, do you know where most of those new aristocrats keep their hidden money? Do you know where most of the fair share vultures have invested their profits from Reardon metal?" "No, but—" "In Danconia copper stock, safely out of the way and out of the country. Danconia Copper, an old invulnerable company, so rich that it would last for 3 more generations of looting. A company managed by a decadent playboy who doesn't give a damn, who'll let them use his property in any way they please and just continue to make money for them, automatically, as did his ancestors. Wasn't that a perfect set-up for the looters, Mr. Reardon? Only, what one single point did they miss?" Reardon was staring at him. "What are you driving at?" Francisco laughed suddenly. "It's too bad about those profiteers on Reardon metal. You wouldn't want them to lose the money you made for them, would you, Mr. Reardon? But accidents do happen in the world. You know what they say, man is only a helpless plaything at the mercy of nature's disasters. For instance, there was a fire at the Danconia ore docks in Valparaiso tomorrow morning. A fire that razed them to the ground along with half of the port structures." "What time is it, Mr. Reardon? Oh, did I mix my tenses? Tomorrow afternoon there will be a rock slide in the Danconia mines at Orano. No lives lost, no casualties, except the mines themselves. It will be found that the mines are done for because they had been worked in the wrong places for months. What can you expect from a playboy's management? The great deposits of copper will be buried under tons of mountain, whereas Sebastian Danconia would not be able to reclaim them in less than 3 years, and a people's state will never reclaim them at all. When the stockholders begin to look into things, they will find that the mines at Campos, San Felix, and Las Heras have been worked in exactly the same manner, and have been running at a loss for over a year. Only the playboy juggled the books, and kept it out of the newspapers. Shall I tell you what they will discover about the management of the Danconia foundries, or of the Danconia ore fleet? But all these discoveries won't do the stockholders any good anyway, because the stock of Danconia copper will have crashed tomorrow morning. Crashed like an electric bulb against concrete. Crashed like an express elevator, spattering pieces of hitchhikers all over the gutters." The triumphant rise of Francisco's voice merged with a matching sound. Reardon burst out laughing. Reardon did not know how long that moment lasted, or what he had felt. It had been like a blow hurling him into another kind of consciousness, then a second blow returning him to his own. All that was left, as at the awakening from a narcotic, was the feeling that he had known some immense kind of freedom, never to be matched in reality. This was like the Wyatt fire again, he thought. This was his secret danger. He found himself backing away from Francisco Danconia. Francisco stood watching him intently, and looked as if he had been watching him all through that unknown length of time. "There are no evil thoughts, Mr. Reardon," Francisco said softly, "except one, the refusal to think." "No," said Reardon. It was almost a whisper. He had to keep his voice down. He was afraid that he would hear himself scream it. "No. If this is the key to you, no, don't expect me to cheer you. You didn't have the strength to fight them. You chose the easiest, most vicious way. Deliberate destruction. The destruction of an achievement you hadn't produced and couldn't match. That's not what you'll read in the newspapers tomorrow. There won't be any evidence of deliberate destruction. Everything happened in the normal, explicable, justifiable course of plain incompetence. Incompetence isn't supposed to be punished nowadays, is it? The boys in Buenos Aires and the boys in Santiago will probably want to hand me a subsidy by way of consolation and reward. There's still a great part of the Danconia Copper Company left, though a great part of it is gone for good. Nobody will say that I've done it intentionally. You may think what you wish. "I think you're the guiltiest man in this room," said Reardon, quietly, wearily. Even the fire of his anger was gone. He felt nothing but the emptiness left by the death of a great hope. "I think you're worse than anything I had supposed." Francisco looked at him with a strange half-smile of serenity, the serenity of a victory over pain, and did not answer. It was their silence that let them hear the voices of the 2 men who stood a few steps away. and they turned to look at the speakers. The stocky elderly man was obviously a businessman of the conscientious, unspectacular kind. His formal dress suit was of good quality, but of a cut fashionable 20 years before, with the faintest tinge of green at the seams. He had had few occasions to wear it. His shirt studs were ostentatiously too large. But it was the pathetic ostentation of an heirloom, intricate pieces of old-fashioned workmanship that had probably come to him through 4 generations, like his business. His face had the expression which these days was the mark of an honest man, an expression of bewilderment. He was looking at his companion, trying hard, conscientiously, helplessly, hopelessly, to understand. His companion was younger and shorter, a small man with lumpy flesh, with a chest thrust forward, and the thin points of a mustache thrust up. He was saying in a tone of patronizing boredom, "Well, I don't know. All of you are